Hi, this is Makisha coming at you again with another video. Just working at being consistent, persistent, at doing videos every single day. Just wanted to tell you guys are blessed. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. So just coming at you with another video. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about until I actually start the camera. So today I think I'm just going to talk about purpose, because a lot of people don't know their purpose. Actually, I still don't know my purpose. I have 4 children, and I just ask God just to put people in my pathway. We all know that our purpose is to tell people about the love of Jesus Christ, to be a disciple for Jesus Christ, to love on people, to treat people the way you want to be treated. So we all know that we're supposed to tell people about the love of Jesus Christ, about telling people about the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we all know that, but people do that in different ways. Look at you guys now. You guys are young, you guys are into Instagram, maybe not Facebook. I'm the Facebook person because I'm older. My daughter, my 16-year-old said, "Well, Facebook's for old people." I'm like, "Okay." Whatever works. But anyway, you guys are called to so many different things. You have Instagram, you have all this other stuff, TikTok, which I'm still learning how to do. I'm getting my daughter to show me how to do that. But you have so many ways now that you can minister to people. So, you may think, well, I don't want to minister to people. But when you're telling somebody about your life, when you're telling them about the positives in your life and how they can have the same thing, you're ministering to people. You're telling them about your testimony. You're loving on them. They want to hear from you. They need to hear your voice. So, I'm up there in age, and, sometimes I don't know what my purpose is, but I believe that God has put little inklings in my pathway to know what my purpose is. But right now I'm in real estate, as you guys know, which I've been in the mortgage industry for about 16, 17 years. But the only reason I got into real estate actually was because my mom had passed. And when my mom passed, my dad passed first, and I love my dad. And then maybe 10 years later, then my mom ended up passing. And so my mom had asked me, "Nicole," because she called me by my middle name, "Nicole, do you want this house?" And I was like, no, I don't want the house, because when I leave the ghetto, I am gone. So I told my mom, no, I don't want the house. So she was like, okay. She wanted to just do a reverse mortgage, take some cash, and kind of do whatever she wanted to do. So I told her I didn't want the house at the time, which is a mistake on my part, because I just thought when I leave the ghetto, hey, I'm gone and I ain't coming back. So anyway, later on, as around the end of her life, I told my mom, well, Mom, I changed my mind. I want the house, because she tried to give it to my uncle, but he wasn't responsible. So I was like, Mom, well, I'll take the house. But then when she tried to give it to me, they said that they couldn't do it because she has the house in a reverse mortgage. And if, I would have to pay like $75,000 to get the house back. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, my mom had passed after that time when she tried to get me the house. So after that, the mortgage company I told them that, hey, my mom had passed, please, can I have the house? So they were like, well, surrender the keys and then you decide what you want to do with the house. So I'm like, surrender the keys. I say, okay. So then when I try to make arrangements for me to get the house, guess what they told me? They told me, basically, they got the information that they needed from me, that they didn't want to talk to me anymore, because my mom had put my name on the house where they could speak with me. But after my mom passed, they said I had no legal right to talk with them. So I'm like, okay, oh, that's the way y'all want to play it. Okay, y'all don't want to talk to me no more now that I done gave you the information that you needed. So anyway, after that, I was like, okay, now the house is just sitting there. Nobody's making the payment. My uncle's living there. He's not making no payment because he don't have a job, so he's living there. And so the house ended up going into foreclosure. So I said, before the house went into foreclosure, I said, I'm going to get my real estate license, because when I get my real estate license, I'm going to try to get this house with, you know, the money that my mom had left me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get the house. So I end up going to real estate school, getting my license, passing the test. And it was a process, because the mortgage company didn't want to talk to me for a while. And so God was with me the whole time, you know. And then they put the house on the market. The real estate agent that had the house, I told her I was the daughter, but guess what? She had investors lined up that she was going to sell this house to, that really wanted this house, because the house was still in like kind of a ghetto type of neighborhood. But guess what? They renovating over there now. You see the other races moving into the neighborhood. So it's not, they were revitalizing the neighborhood. So since they were revitalizing the neighborhood, she had all these investors lined up that wanted to take the house, flip the house to do whatever. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, Lord? You know, she got these people lined up. She's really not listening to me. And so she told me just to put in my offer basically with the other ones. So what happened, I ended up I did put in an offer on the house, because I just put in the offer of what they offered on the house. And since it was in foreclosure, you know, they offered the house for like $50,000. So I put in my offer. I didn't offer over either, because I felt like I had a right to it. I was the daughter of my mom. So what happened, the Lord, this is how you have to have wisdom. The Lord told me, Makisha, write a letter. Tell them your heart. Tell them, you know, I'm the daughter of Miss Lewis, and write the letter telling them, tell your heart, speak your heart, tell them how this homes mean to you. Tell them how you grew up in this house since you were 8 years old. And so I did that. And you know what? The Lord answered. The Lord answered. They had so many offers on my mom's house. And when I wrote that letter, they accepted my offer. They accepted the $50,000. You know, they didn't care about the other offers that were over. They accepted my offer on this particular home, and I got the house. So I'm like, okay, because I have another house over here and I wasn't going to move back. So me and my husband decided, well, let's just renovate it. And so we did renovate the house. We renovated the house to make the home as a shelter for the homeless. So basically in Virginia, you know, they have different places that rent out rooms. So that's what we did. We rented out rooms to the homeless, but the homeless people was not paying the rent. A place called St. Joseph Villa was renting the homes for the homeless, but they were paying the homeless person's rent until they get on their feet. So that's when I was living in Virginia. So that's what we did. We rented out, the home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I rented out all 3 rooms, and it was a home for the homeless. And so, you know, I really loved doing that. The people were really nice, but, you know, I couldn't keep that up when I moved. So I ended up moving to Florida. And then I was going to keep the house when I moved. But then when I moved, I had a particular guy who didn't want to pay his rent, because the company only pays their rent until they get back on their feet. So once they get back on their feet and they get a job, then they have to pay their own rent. So this particular person wasn't paying their own rent. So I was like, I'm all the way in Florida. I'm not able to take care of a house. What am I going to do? So I'm telling you, this home blessed us over. It blessed other people. And since I did move, I did end up selling the house because it just was too much work running back and forth. That is like running 14 hours back to Virginia. But I had that house for I would say about 10 years. I kept the house for about 10 years before I decided to sell it. And then when I did sell it, the market was booming at the time. And so I made a lot of money on that house to over the amount for me to put down a down payment for another house. So that's how big it was. But just to remind you, you just never know what your purpose is. And right now, I'm still in real estate. I still had to go back to real estate. My big thing is do what God tells you to do, because he's going to always bring you back around to do the same thing. Because I did wander off and get a job, and I already told you about that in the other videos. I did wander off and get a job, and I knew I wasn't supposed to, because God wanted me to do this real estate, because to be honest, I'm actually an introvert. I'm really not, I talk to people and I'm like, hey girl, but I'm really an introvert because I was the only child, and I do have some stepbrothers. They're older than me, but I was the only child. So I was used to playing by myself. I was used to talking to my dolls. I was used to being by myself. So when I talk to other people, I step out of my comfort zone. So I don't mind talking to people, and people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. But I have to force myself to get out of my comfort zone. And that's a learning tip too. Force yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Doing this video, I don't like telling my business. But then when I heard that video with DoorDash, I'm like, man, this could be a way to minister to people. This could be a way for people to learn from you, your testimony and what you've learned. So I was like, I better listen to what DoorDash tell me to do, because it might be something to it. But I'm really, really an introvert. You know what? I got 4 kids, but when I get that quiet time, I'd be so happy to get that quiet time being by myself. Like right now, I dropped them off at school. My young one is in the house, but grandma, my mother-in-law, helping me take care of him, thank God. But when I have that time to myself, it is magical. I have to get up. I get up sometimes around 4 o'clock in the morning just to spend time with God and pray and seek his face. And I have to do that because after 6 o'clock, when I have to wake them up for school, my quiet time is done. Like right now, I still have stuff to do right now. My quiet time is done. So I make sure I get up and spend that time with the Lord at 4 in the morning. Sometimes like today, he woke me up like at 3:30. But I have to spend that time with him because my whole day is busy for the rest of the day. And so I have to make sure that I spend that time with God. I have to make sure that I pray. I have to make sure that I read my Bible. I have to make sure that I do my affirmations. And I'll go over that on another video. But what I'm telling you is, do I think real estate is my purpose? I don't know. Sometimes you feel like when you step into your purpose that you have to love it. But I really do. I like real estate. That's why I'm getting back into it. And you know what? Even though I had got out of it for a little bit, I realized that now with me going back to it, like, man, I really do love it. I really can't wait to my next meeting. I really can't wait to talk to my next client. So, the Lord will bring you right back around to what he told you to do. So in order to not waste any years, don't waste your years. Just do what God tells you to do, because he's going to bring you right back around to it if you don't. But he's so patient. The Lord is so patient. He's kind. He's loving. He's gracious. He loves you. He loves me. But he loves you intensely. So what I'm saying is he's so patient with us. He's so loving. And I told that testimony because maybe somebody just needed to hear it. You know, I love talking to people. I love being around people, but I also love my quiet time as well. So I don't know if this video has helped you. If it did, give it a like. So anyway, make sure you guys are consistent and persistent with your videos because somebody needs to hear your story. If you have any questions about the real estate industry, if you have any questions about maybe getting a home that went into foreclosure, I could usually help you with that and tell you some of the things that I've done. But yeah, talk to you guys soon. Make sure I don't make this video over, oh my goodness, I make sure I try not to make the video over 15 minutes. But anyway, just wanted to get that out. Talk to you guys soon.